Okay, let's go live. Hello, hi everyone. I'm Sanjay Gupta. I welcome you all on Sanjay Gupta Tech School. And this is one more session of OmniStudio Bootcamp. And as you know, like we are doing season two and we are learning different scenarios. And uh, prior to this session, like Abhishek did all the session, he was in India. Now, this is the first session he will be delivering from Australia. And as I hope you already know, like he's already working on projects which are based on OmniStudio. So now he's working on client-facing role. So I think in the sessions, like he will be able to share more experiences with you. And let's start with the session. So in today's session, we are gonna learn about data raptor load. So before that, Abhishek, if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. So, myself, Abhishek, and I'm working as a Salesforce Velocity developer. And I have overall of 5+ years of experience in Salesforce domain. And I have done some certifications around say, Salesforce and Velocity, which is first one is like we all know OmniStudio developer, and second is industry CPQ developer. And other than that, I have done one more industries velocity certification, which is velocity health insurance, and some certification on the Salesforce core industry as well. So that's all about me, Sanjay.
Okay, so thank you, Abhishek. And if you want to become part of a community where lots of folks are already connected and learning about Salesforce, so you can scan this QR code and become part of that group. And if you want to share some feedback, you can write your feedbacks in the comments, right? And before starting the session, I just want to appreciate Abhishek's effort because in India and Australia there is 5 hour 30 minutes time difference. So right now in India it is 5:30. We are doing the session, but in Australia it is 11 p.m. And like he's sparing some time for you. So I really appreciate the efforts. Okay, so let's jump onto the topic. So we are going to learn about data raptor load. So far we did like how we can fetch the data. Now we will learn how we can push the data in the org with the help of data raptor. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's start.
Yeah. So, so as Sanjay mentioned, like till now we have done all the scenarios where we were fetching the data from database with the help of data raptor turbo extract and data raptor extract. But data raptors, there is another type of data raptor which is called as data raptor load or data raptor post, which used to perform the DML operations in the Salesforce ecosystem, and the DML operations like insert, update, upsert. So in today's session, we're gonna see how we can insert independent records like a single account record, and if you want to insert bulk records, then how we can achieve that. And if you want to insert dependent records or objects like account and contacts, like account contacts and opportunities, and in the case of contact and opportunities, they both will be tagged with the account. So we're gonna see these scenarios in practical today. So let's just jump onto the org and we'll start with the first scenario, which is insert an account record. So if I go to data raptors, so we will create a new data raptor where we'll say data raptor post or data raptor load, we can say. insert account. And the interface type will be load now. And as soon as we change the data raptor, the interface type to load, there is another field will be showing, which is batch size. So whenever this data raptor will get called from the IP or the OmniScript in an asynchronous mode, right? Then we can define the batch size the way we do in the batch classes or asynchronous jobs, right? So it will say that how many records can be processed in a single transaction. So right now we are keeping this as blank. So by default the batch size is 200. We all know. And if I click on save, and there is one more thing. If you have given a notice in the data raptor extract, we never had the output type as object. But in the data raptor load, the output type will always be the S object. The reason is because data raptor load are only used for inserting, updating, or upsetting records into the Salesforce objects as objects only. So there will be no JSON output type. There will be no XML output type. There will be always S object output type. So if we insert the So I mean, like our scenario was to insert a account record. So we have to click on the add object, and in the add object we have to define the object type that you want to insert. So we can simply select the account, and from here there is a lock icon will be visible. If you click on this, it will get logged. So I mean, like it's kind of a UI thing. If you click on this, then you can edit it. And if you click it, you cannot edit it. It just so that the UI is more comfortable. And formula tab is similar to kind of data raptor extract, where if you want to, let's say you are passing some sort of input to this data raptor, and if you want to make some modification into the data raptor only, then you can write down some formulas. And if you go to the options tab, it is kind of similar, but there are some new options like ignore errors, roll back on error, use assignment rule, and override target for null inputs. So this fourth option is similar to the data raptor extract. If there is any null value, if this checkbox is not checked, then it will not come into the output. And if this one is checked, then the null value get populated. Ignore errors will be like, let's say if this data raptor load has been called from the IP, and let's say because of any reason this data raptor is getting failed, then that IP will continue its transaction. It will not stop on the data raptor call. Okay. And rollback on error. Let's say we are inserting 100 records, and let's say 99th record will get failed. Then all the records that have been processed within this data raptor will get rolled back into the database. And use assignment rules. It's a it's a out of the box functionality of Salesforce. Whenever you create a case record, you can assign it to someone. So you can check this checkbox. Now, if I go to the fields, right? In the fields, again we have two things: input JSON path, and on the part of output JSON path, we have a new thing called domain object field. So input JSON path, we will be always passing the input to this data raptor, and domain object field, that means in which field you want to map this input JSON. So let's say if I click on a plus icon and I want to insert a account with the name, okay, and input I am receiving the input in ACC name. We'll suppose that, okay. And so what will happen? We have to pass this ACC name from the input parameters, and this value will get passed to the name domain object field of account. Okay.
Yeah,
so if I go to preview,
one thing I want to discuss, if you can go back to this fields. So here input JSON path name can be anything. right?
Yes. Yeah.
And domain object field is the field which is available on the object, so it should be same always.
Correct.
Okay,
So, so this should be exact API name of your object, and this is case sensitive. So we have to keep in that also.
right.
So if I go to preview now, and let's say I'll generate a JSON where I'm gonna pass the value for account. So let's say SGTS load dr load one load, and if I click on execute, this will insert a account, and as an output, it will give me the S object record ID. And if I
Okay.
click on this one, it will open that account record for me.
So for this, like if one want to create some records through data raptor load, so they need to know the like how to write JSON.
Yeah, I mean, if you are into OmniStudio, this is the mandatory skill that you have to learn, that how to work with JSON.
Right.
So that is there. And so, I mean, like, I hope this is a very simple scenario where we have just mapped one field of the account object, and we have passed the input parameter, and as an output, we are getting the S object record ID.
Right.
Right. Now, if I go to the second scenario, here what we want to achieve is we want to insert account records again, but I mean, like, if you go to this, there is only one record, one account record which can be inserted at a time. But let's say this is not a usual scenario, because when we are working with Apex, we usually update multiple records in a single transaction, right? So for that, what we will be doing is sorry. So first of all, sorry, ma'am. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we will clone this data raptor. We'll say insert account records bulk, and yeah. So now what will happen? I'm gonna call this. So I mean, like, when we work with Apex, we have if you want to insert or update bulk number of records, then we have to create a list of it.
Right.
So we have to do the similar thing over here as well. So for that one, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say, so let's say I'm gonna say here, I'm gonna create a list called ACC list, and as for this one, this is gonna be removed. So if you can see,
Yeah,
I have created a.
if you
Sorry.
can relate it, if we have the result of data raptor extract, so the same
Oh, yeah.
format we can use. I think that will be easy for learners.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I have a data raptor extract where we are passing the name param, and I'm gonna remove the delete, and I'm gonna say here, let's say,
We can choose active or rating. Yeah.
yeah,
Rating,
rating
not
is equals to hot.
Yep.
And if I go to preview, we don't need this anymore. Click execute. So I'm able to receive
Yeah. But,
5 account records. Okay.
yeah, I think, but
And
here
if-
list is not available. List name is not available. It is like
Mhm.
independent nodes.
So we can do that as well. So as part of list, what I'm gonna do is, Sanjay, I'm gonna just create a list for name only, so that
Yeah, sure.
we will not use the time list. And I mean, like, whatever I'm trying to do in this data raptor extract, I hope you all are able to understand. Okay. So I think.
Yeah, I think one node we can copy and then we can repeat in the data raptor load.
Yeah. Okay. So as you can see, there is an account list has been created, and in that we have five account records. Correct. So I'm gonna simply copy this one and paste it over here. So if you see this JSON format into the Apex format, this is your list name, and there are 5 members in that list which are having the name as an input parameter. And as a change, what we have to do is we just have to change the only one thing over here, which is ACC list colon name now.
Right.
So now what will happen when I click on execute, the data wrapper will automatically understand that this is a list, and in that list, let's say I have 5 records, I have 10 records. This data wrapper will insert those records in a single transaction, and as output, you will receive the IDs for each and every account.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
I think similar to
That is-
output mapping. In output mapping, we also have list name colon then a particular field. So similarly, now it is in input JSON, right? So input JSON we are having list colon and then particular field, and basis on that we are pushing the data.
correct. So I mean, like if I go back to data wrapper extract, that is the same thing we are doing over here. We have created a mapping so that we can have the result into the list format.
Right.
So this list format we have to pass it to as an input parameter to data wrapper load, and it will execute multiple times. I mean, like logically it will not execute multiple times, but in a single transaction it will insert multiple records.
Right.
Okay. And now if we go to the scenarios again, there is another scenario that we want to achieve here is insert account with related contacts. Okay. So for that one, again, we're going to clone a data wrapper, and here we're going to say insert account with contacts. So first step will be obviously the account. Second, we want to insert, so we can use a single data wrapper load for inserting multiple objects. So here we're gonna say contact, and if I go to fields now, I will be able to see 2 subtabs under the fields tab. So one is for the obviously for the account, and second one is for contact. It will create automatically, and we all know for contact we have to give last name as a
Required field.
because last name is the mandatory field on contact. So we'll say contact last name, and the domain object field will be the last name. Okay. And if I go to preview, I don't want to create multiple account records. I'll just have one only. So in the preview, I'm gonna remove this. We don't need this. Also this and also this. And we need this this as a parameter, and the another parameter that we want is which is contact last name. So we have to pass this one as well. So here we're gonna say first contact. Okay. And if I click execute, it will give me the contact and account records inserted. But there is a catch over here, because whenever we are working with account and contacts, right, they are the related objects to each other, because contact is the child and account is the parent. But right now, the contact and the account got inserted independently. They are not related to each other right now. So for achieving that purpose, what we have to do, we have to create a link between these two things into the objects tab. So if I click on this add link, there will be a new window will get opened, where in the domain object field we have to say, so let's say on contact, if you want to connect the contact with the account, you have there is a field called account ID on the contact that you want to populate. And the linked object will be, so let's say before this contact, I have one account, I'm inserting one account. Let's say I'm inserting two accounts before this contact. So there will be two options, one account and two account. So to which account you want to attach this contact, you can select from here. And here you have to give the field which you want to populate. So basically now what will happen? First of all, account will get inserted. And after the account will get inserted, the contact will create a mapping with the account ID. With the account ID, whatever account has been inserted over here. So that ID will get passed here, and that ID value will get populated on the contact record.
Right.
And as a result of this mapping, if I go to the contact, there is a mapping created. As soon as I click on the add link, there will be a default mapping will get created by the OmniStudio features, where if you want to understand, the domain object field is account ID, and similar thing, get it from the account, and what field you want to populate, the ID field. And now if I go to preview and let's say I'm gonna say one, and click execute. And if I go to contact, so this contact will get attached with account, right?
Yep.
So this is very useful feature of data raptor load, where you don't have to worry about the IDs which is getting created for the parent object. We can attach those IDs with the child object by the out of the box functionality of data raptor load.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. And if we want to insert opportunity as well, so we can have one more section, right? And then similar way we need to map, right?
Yeah. So for that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a kind of clone of this contact, where we will add one more object that will be called as opportunity, and we'll create a link with the similar thing. We're gonna say account ID.
Yeah, account ID and one
from the account only.
Right.
Now you can see before opportunity we are inserting two records, account and contact. So this one is showing us two options. Which one you want to select?
Right.
So I'm gonna say the account ID, and again here the ID field will be there. And in the fields there will be a third sub tab will get created, and the default mapping will get created with the add link functionality. And I think for opportunity, I do not remember which is the mandatory field.
Three fields: opportunity name, close date, and stage.
Okay. So we're gonna say OPP name. And for getting the date, we can create a simple formula, which is today. So this formula will give us the, today's date. And we can call it today date. And for population of this, what we can do is we're gonna say input JSON today date, and here we're gonna say close date. And what's the other one, Sanjay?
Stage.
Stage. Okay. So we're gonna call it OPP stage. And from the preview, we have to pass two more parameters: OPP name and OPP stage. So that would be,
we can write prospecting.
And the other one is OPP name. Test. And if I click on execute, it will create the opportunity as well. And if I navigate to opportunity, so As we can see, the account is already populated, and whatever fields we populated, the name, the close date, which is 14th of Feb, and the stage is prospecting.
Right.
So, and if I go to the account again, and from the account, from the related list, I can see the contact as well as the opportunity. Because so those both of the objects have been attached with the parent record, which is account.
Right.
So that is the very useful scenarios with data raptor load. There are few more scenarios which we can discover, but I mean, like for today's we have only these scenarios. But data raptor load is very useful tool of OmniStudio by which we can perform so many tricks to update or insert the data to the database.
Right. One question I have here. So right now these are inserting single records. So if we want to do bulk update, so similar to the previous one, we need to create a list and we need to set the data,
Yeah,
right? And the
yeah,
input mapping will be same, like list name
correct,
colon and then the whatever name we are using in the JSON, then we need to use the same name, right?
correct, Sanjay.
And linking will be done automatically.
So it depends on your JSON structure.
Okay.
So let's say you have independent list for account and contact. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
then linking will be done anonymously. I mean, any contact will can get attached with any account.
Right.
But let's say if you have a JSON structure where we are saying there is a ACC list, and in that ACC list,
We
so
are
for
having, yeah,
example,
we are having nested contact and opportunity list.
yeah, then it will get attached with the same account for which you want to attach it.
And in that case, input mapping will be same like account. Let's say list of account name is accounts, and inside that we have contacts and opportunities to list. So we need to write
Correct.
accounts colon contacts colon and then the name of the field, right?
Right.
Yeah. In that case, linking will be like properly with
Right.
one account, proper context will be related.
But if the JSON structure and the list are independent to each other, then we cannot surely say that this contact will attach with this account only. That will be anonymously there.
Right. Yeah. Otherwise, this will be the way like in single like block we can have all the fields available together, and we can create
Yeah,
as many blocks as we want to.
correct.
Okay. Yeah, I think
So
this is it for today. So maybe in
yeah,
so we will be having one more session for Data Raptor in which like we will be covering update and absurd
absurd.
scenarios, right? And we can quickly cover the single scenario on transform also, so that Data Raptor part will be completed. Then we can pick the integration procedure.
Yes, Sanjay.
Yeah, and I think I'm thinking like OmniScript and FlexCard we can do with some scenario, because independently we already explained them, so we can have an end-to-end scenario so that it will be quickly explained. So Data Raptor and IP we can explain independently, and then OmniScript and FlexCard we can explain with a scenario.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like we'll create a scenario where we will
Using all,
demonstrate how we have achieved and how things are happening.
yeah, so that all four components will be used together.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching this session. So Krishna is saying it would be very helpful if we come up with a session in future related to how to pass data from OS to OmniScript to LWC FlexCard. Okay, so one session we can do like OmniStudio tools and LWC that we didn't do in our previous sessions.
Okay. Yeah, definitely we can do.
Okay. Okay, thank you everyone for watching this session, and thank you Abhishek for sparing some time and sharing your knowledge. Thank you. Bye everyone.